Hey guys, welcome back. It is Teasdale here, and you know what time it is. Marching Machine spoilers are all out, and today we are going to discuss the top 5 commons I believe are probably going to see play out of Marching Machines. Apologies about the camera. Since OBS is updated, it's been messing up, so I'll make sure it's ready for the next video. But before, let's dive right into the honourable mentions. So first off, there is a cycle of these, I believe, but these two are the ones that stand out in particular for me. I do think these two may be good enough to be playable, and the reason is I think there's like a white-based late to dinner deck, usually like Jeskai Wildfire or something like that, that could use something like Alabaster Host, which is the thing with late to dinner at the moment, and Exhume as well, is you're pretty much just bringing back like giant creatures. Apart from obviously like Archaeomancer, you're kind of using to make sure you have a loop going. But this is actually quite useful because it is a decent sized body. It is a Fiend Hunter on a stick, so it's quite useful to be able to get the value of late to dinner. So I do think that this may see play here and there. It might not be amazing, but it is definitely a consideration. Second, Gloomfang Mauler is kind of Twisted Air-Bomb kind of level, but it also gives 2 counters on something. It can do itself, and also can provide menace for another creature, which I think is pretty useful overall, so it might see some play moving on. But only time will tell. Next up is Hanger Scrounger. So you might have seen that this card combos. It creates a combo with Seeker of Skybreak. Because of the way backup works, you get the ability of when a creature becomes tapped, loot. So what we can do with this, you give it to the Seeker, it can tap and untap itself infinitely, looting through your entire deck. That's pretty useful. Obviously the win con is whatever at this point. Could be Jace's Erasure, could be Fist of Flames, it could be, I have no idea, whatever else you want to win, just a bunch of bolts, who knows. But yeah, this combo is obviously different and unique, and another way to get through your deck. It might be another win con for One Land Spy, who knows. So with that being said, and it's such a unique effect that it's definitely a kind of mention that you have to have here, I think. So that's the idea anyways. But now guys, let's get right into our top 5. Number 5 is Sunder the Gateway. I do like this card. I don't know if this card's going to be insane but the fact that I do like about this card is it's never really dead. So it's like a main deckable, it's kind of Dawnbringer Cleric level, but obviously a spell, where you get to destroy a artifact or enchantment and also incubate 2, which is quite nice. And then if it's not going to be useful in the matchup you're against, you have incubate 2, which then automatically transforms as well, which is pretty nice. It ain't going to be backbreaking. I do think it's pretty sweet. It's definitely a card to consider when building white-based decks, especially white being pretty good right now. So I definitely think it's just there, just to have as this kind of little value engine that also is a creature. So we'll see how it goes, but that is my number 5. Moving on to number 4 is Halo Hopper. I think this card is secretly, I wanted to put this higher. I think this card was secretly really good. I think this card's probably considerable for Stompy, definitely. Mono green Stompy, that is, because you can just literally play 1 drop into Burning Tree, Convoked on 2 is also quite nice. Any deck that goes wide with tokens or plays a bunch of 1/1s, this is also quite nice. Obviously the body isn't big, but the fact that you can then put out the body early is really good. So I do think this might see play in a lot of different go wide strategies, potentially something like Boros with Battle Screech, or something like a Battle Screech deck, or even Mono Green Stompy. There is an argument for some sort of like tokens deck, maybe anything that runs Kuldotha too, could definitely consider it. So that is definitely something to consider when building these go wide strategies. So I do think this card is pretty strong, and a 3/2 is pretty good. So that's all there really is to say about Halo Hopper, and I do think it is a very strong contender, and I wish I did put it higher, to be fair, but we'll see how it turns out anyways. Going on to number 3 is Final Flourish. I do think this card's really strong, especially in something like Gardens or even Affinity. It's a 2-mana -2/2, which means it can kill quite a lot of stuff, quite a lot of important stuff. Swift Spear, anything out of White Weenie, or it can kill, excuse me, it can kill Kenku, obviously it can kill all these other things, while also then when kicked, it can kill an Unexpected Fanged, Tolarian Terror or Gurmag Angler, and it's also minus power and toughness, so it can also kill the Indestructible Bridge too out of Affinity, so it kind of is better than the Glaring Annihilation or whatever the card's called from the previous set, and I think the fact that you don't have to sacrifice to get some sort of value out of it is really key, and it also being minus power and toughness, meaning you can kill the bridge, and then also being -6/6, which kills an Unexpected Fangs or a Crawl from Cellared Terror or Gurmag Angler is a really big consideration to have this card. I think this card probably should be even higher as well. But again, the difference between these top 5, I think between 4, 3, 2 and 1 is, well, 4, 3, 2 definitely could go in either way. I think they are definitely how you perceive the format, so this card's definitely going to be strong and will definitely be at least a sideboard option for a lot of like Affinity decks, and probably a main deck option for something like Gardens, I would think. So moving on to number 2 is Meeting of Minds. So this card is a 4-mana Convoke, draw 2 instant, which I think is really strong. It's consideration to replace something like Of One Mind in Fear potentially. It's definitely worth testing at least. I think it's also potential for replacing like Deep Analysis in Familiars, because you get the discount. You can also then Convoke with all your O4s and your O3s. So I think this card could definitely be a real powerful card for those kind of strategies. Any blue-based creature deck, i.e. Famed Familiars, maybe even potentially Corgate if they want that style of effect too. I don't really think they'll want it as much, but it's definitely worth testing in those kind of decks. And I think this fits right into Familiars and fits right into potentially in Fear as is. So it's definitely worth testing, definitely worth looking out for. And I think this is probably one of the best cards, new cards I would say, coming into this set. Last but not least, number 1 card for this set is, I think it's probably an easy one, I would think. This is probably easily the most powerfulest common in Marching Machines, because it is effectively a reprint of a very, very strong card, and that card is Rens Resolve. This card is literally a Reckless Impulse 5/8, and potentially it could go in some number of Cold Author. I could see some of the flex slots being replaced by another Rens Resolve, like 5 to 6 of Rens Resolve, so they have 6 copies of Reckless Impulse. That is definitely for sure. But I think something like Kiln Fiend, which struggles against any deck that has massive amounts of kill spells, it struggles to kind of build card advantage because it only has 4 Reckless Impulse. It can't run Experimental Synthesizer because it's not an instant sorcery. It doesn't really help your game plan. So having copies 5 to 8 of Reckless Impulse will be incredible for Kiln Fiend. That is for sure. I also think that potentially Old School Burn would run this, because having 8 copies of Reckless Impulse just means you have much more card advantage. You can definitely plow through your burn spells a lot quicker. And there is obviously potential for Cold Author 2, and also there is a chance now with 8 Reckless Impulses that some sort of Storm deck can kind of go off as well. I would not be surprised if you see people like Bryant Cook or especially Callie messing about with something like this to do some shenanigans with Storm. Is also something to keep an eye out. 8 copies of Reckless Impulse. It's basically just Galvanic Relay at this point. So that'll be something to keep an eye on too. But I definitely think Rens Resolve will be a lot of people's best card for Marching Machine, because this card having 5 to 8 of Reckless Impulse is incredible. So guys, that is it just for the top 5. Short and sweet video, just how we like it. And if you guys disagree, think I've missed some cards out, or if there's other considerations that are completely bypassed, please hit me up in the comments below, and please do not forget to like and subscribe this, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any uploads. See you guys next time.